Singapore GP 2025 Review, The Inner Turmoil, George's Genius, McLaren's Dynasty, and Piastri Norris Showdown. Under the neon haze of Marina Bay, the tension was thick enough to slice with a front wing. McLaren's empire stood on edge. Red Bull smelled blood, and every camera lens was fixed on two papaya cars about to go to war. Welcome back to Undercut Unfiltered, your fastest lap through the chaos, controversies, and carnage of Formula One. This is your full breakdown of 2025 Singapore Grand Prix, a race less about overtakes and more about overdrive. Heading into the weekend, Oscar Piastri led teammate Lando Norris by 25 points. MaxVerstappen sat a further 45 points behind Lando Norris. Every session mattered. Every risk carried championship weight. Let's dive right into it. Segment 1. Dirty Air and Clean Redemption. Qualifying at Marina Bay was theatre under floodlights. Humid, tense, and waiting to explode. Out front, George Russell delivered a lap for redemption. A record breaker and pole 2 years on from his heartbreak here. Just 0.09 seconds behind him, Max Verstappen. Furious that pole had slipped through his fingers. Oscar Piastri lined up P3, calm, calculated, and quietly confident. Lando Norris took P5 after a scrappy final run that would soon become the weekend's biggest talking point. Verstappen, on a flyer that was almost catching up on Russell's time, caught the dirty air from Norris cruising 2 seconds ahead. The turbulence killed the lap. Max aborted, screaming "Unbelievable" over the radio. The chance for pole gone.
All this dirty air. I won't forget this.
Typical Red Bull, always complaining.
Post-session, the words hit harder than the lap times. Verstappen warned, "This will be remembered." And Norris snapped back. Typical Red Bull. They complain about everything. Ferrari's Saturday, though, summed up their season. Quick but confused. Hamilton qualified P6, Leclerc P7, both fast enough to feature, never quite really enough to frighten anyone. By the end of Q3, Russell stood on pole, Verstappen seating in P2, and McLaren garage already buzzing with tension before the lights had even gone out. Segment 2. McLaren's journey from last to Lords of F1. Before the lap 1 chaos, you have to remember where McLaren actually came from. 2 years ago, they were struggling to reach Q3. Andrea Stella rebuilt the team from ground up. Sharp engineers, faster cars, calmer heads. By 2024, they clinched the Constructors title on the very last day. In 2025, they have done it again, back-to-back champions, wrapping it up with 6 races to spare and holding nearly double the points of Mercedes, their nearest rival. They have built the fastest car, the most balanced driving pair, and the most efficient pit wall. Week after week, they have been rewriting what dominance looks like in modern Formula One. But dominance always comes with a price. Inside the garage, the mood has shifted. Smiles have turned sharper, laughter more nervous. The orange dream that once united them is now a pressure cooker for 2 of the fastest young drivers in the world. From last to legends in 2 years, but right now, McLaren's biggest rival isn't Red Bull, it's each other. Segment 3. The show that broke the peace.
Race clean!
I forgot, Papa. I forgot papaya rules.
Okay, son.
The biggest moment of the race lasted less than 3 seconds, but it might define the rest of the season. Oscar Piastri versus Lando Norris. The friendship has officially cracked. This is now a full-blown title war. Piastri started P3, Norris P5. At turn 3, Norris lunged, clipped the back of Verstappen, bounced into Oscar and shoved him wide to snatch P3 for himself. A hard, cold-blooded move. You could almost hear Zach Brown's blood pressure spike through the radio. Oscar was furious. That wasn't very team-like. Are we cool with Lando just barging me out of the way? The stewards, though, called it a racing incident, But inside McLaren, lines were crossed. If you look at the show, Norris had every right to go for the place. So why was Piastri unhappy? Only one answer: the papaya rules. This is what happens when you try to control both your drivers to the point where, for them, racing in F1 and racing under papaya rules are two different things. Earlier in the season, when Piastri was asked about the papaya rules, he said it meant only one thing: don't crash into your teammate, which translates to race clean, no surprises, and no blindsided moves. And if you look at it that way, Piastri's anger is completely justified. The lead shrinks again to 22 points, a single race win apart. Lando is driving like a man who knows time is running out, because this wasn't about raw pace anymore, it was about control. Norris threw the punch and felt entirely within his rights to do so, but for Piastri, it was the moment the unspoken team code broke. You could feel the temperature shift in every McLaren radio call after that. Two styles, one crown. One driver justified, the other furious. And now, no more peace. And if the tension needed one last spike, McLaren's impromptu Constructors' Championship celebration on the podium did the rest. Piastri was still doing his media duties when the call came. Norris had also left for his, but the team pulled him back to join the party. It wasn't intentional, just messy timing. Yet the optics were brutal. One driver in front of the camera, the other in front of champagne. One smiling on the stage, the other answering questions. For a team built on orange unity, that image said everything. Segment 4. The Break, the Rage and the Relentless. And while McLaren imploded under pressure, Ferrari's night unraveled in slow motion. Hamilton was the quicker car after switching to softs, and team orders came through. Leclerc stepped aside to let him chase Kimi Antonelli. The hunt was on, but within 10 laps, the dream melted. His front left brake overheated, forcing him to nurse the car corner after corner. Leclerc cruised back past him with ease, while Hamilton, desperate to keep Alonso behind, began cutting chicane just to survive. The stewards saw it differently. 5-second penalty for repeated track violations, which dropped him behind Alonso in the final classification.
I cannot believe it! I believe it! I cannot believe it!
Fernando Alonso was furious and flying. His radio was peak Alonso. I cannot believe it. He is cutting the track every lap. Is it safe to drive with no brakes? He also said at one point, if you speak to me every lap, I will disconnect the radio. At 43, still angry, still elite, Alonso crossed the line just behind Hamilton but inherited P7 after the penalty. And further down the order, Carlos Sainz quietly did what he does best: manage chaos. He ran nearly 50 laps on hard tires, kept it clean, and dragged home the final point. No radio rants, no fireworks, just consistency. Segment 5. George Russell's Masterclass and the Verdict. While McLaren went to war, George Russell was writing his redemption arc in real time. 2 years after crashing out on the final lap while chasing a podium, he returned to Marina Bay and didn't just survive, he dominated. From pole to victory, it was a lesson in composure. Every braking point, every corner exit, every call to the pit wall, perfect. The same walls that once ended his race now framed one of his finest wins. This was the George Russell we had been waiting for, the one who marries speed with serenity. The kind of drive that turns a racer into a leader and a team into a genuine threat again. Behind him, Kimi Antonelli delivered a calm and clinical P5 finish. Not his best result of the season, but one of his most complete drives. No drama, no errors, just quiet execution that helped Mercedes extend their advantage in the fight for P2 in the Constructors. They now sit on 325 points ahead of Ferrari's 298 and Red Bull's 290. It's consistency over chaos, and that's what's keeping the Silver Arrows in control. So what's the verdict on Singapore 2025? A calm race on track, but chaos beneath the surface. The race that didn't decide the title but might have broken the peace. From here on, every corner, every pit call, every glance in the mirror matters. That's your Singapore Grand Prix review. So, was Lando's move fair or foul play? Drop your verdict below. Next up, we are heading to Austin. Wide straights, big drama, and maybe a McLaren civil war brewing under the Texan sun. This has been Undercut Unfiltered. Drive fast, pit smart, and tap the bell icon and subscribe to the channel so you never miss a race weekend recap or prediction. Thank you.